All right, Shalom. I'm going to start off by giving all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Hashem, Yahushua, Hashem, Kakodash. Double honor to the apostle and elders of the great millstone. Shalom, Sal, Akim, pushing the word of sincerity and the truth. It's the brother bars all. And I just want to do a lesson in regards to we're living in some highly spiritual times. You know, we seeing what's going on all through our media. You know, in regards to right now what's going on in Mexico, what's going on in the United States, what's going on in Ukraine. You know, Russia, China, the Middle East. You know, they're speaking about the Strait of Hormuz and Iran. You know, all these things are biblical prophecy. You know, you can line all these things up with biblical, with the foretelling of what the prophet said in ancient times of what was to come to pass in today's time. As it is written, which I could get, at the end it shall speak. You know, and a lot of these people, they just don't have an answer.
We found old photos on your phone.
Got this new app and it's pulling up all kind of ads on this Bible app. Let's see.
Will be permanently deleted.
See. Let me try to get it. And it shall speak. Yeah, Habakkuk. I'm going to read in different versions also. It says, for the vision, Habakkuk 2 and 3, for the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak and not lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Let me get another version. For yet the vision is for a season, and it breatheth for the end, and doth not lie. If it tarry, wait for it, for surely it cometh, and it is not late. You see, so us brothers, we have been watching, we have been observing the prophecies for decades. You know, starting off with Apostle on down. You know, our elders, Elder Abba Bivens, King Mashai, Elder Yaiqua, you know, these brothers that have been teaching attentively weekly, as the prophets did of old, pursuing to Jeremiah 28 and 8. And, you know, Yahweh Shah said, I was with you daily, you know, teaching, you know. So us brothers have been teaching intensively for this span of time, and it's the end is speaking. You know, a lot of individuals, we had many scoffers, individuals that try to make it seem like we were just bug outs. Oh, you guys said the end of the world. They said the end of the world would occur in 2000 with Y2K. And we never said the world is going to end. All right. When we say the end of the world, you got to understand too, even if in context of certain brothers saying that, the word world has many definitions, and that's why you got to get in the words. You know, the world is is an age. So like as it is written, I read it, 2nd Ezra 6 and 9, that Esau is the end of the world. That doesn't mean that the whole entire world, the global population, will become fully extinct and the world will be fully eradicated. That's not what it's talking about. When it says Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that followed, that's talking about an age. All right, a time where Esau it will be a transition of power. They got the AI overview. The spirit. I'm going to read this real fast. 2nd Ezra 69 is a pivotal verse in the apocalyptic text of 2nd Ezra, stating for Esau the end of the world or this age, and Jacob at the beginning of it that followed. Serves as a symbolic marker for the transition between ages, contrasting the end of the present order represented by Esau with the start of the new era represented by Jacob. You see? So he knows what's going on. You know, he can't turn and make these prophecies null and void. That's why they wanted to try to destroy the book. I'm just trying to screenshot it. You know, they had the Bible Destruction Group where they was making many attempts to try to get rid of these heavy hitting points, but you can't work around it. What else would that possibly mean? You see? So Esau, being the end of the world, his time has come. And that's why the scriptures speak about in Revelation 12:12 that the devil knoweth that he had but a short time. You see? So this man knows that his time is up. All right. That's why, like we just, I was speaking about the brother, about all this chaos and this confusion that's going on. All these things is orchestrated from the so-called white man on the left-hand side. This whole situation in Mexico, which they just killed this Mexican cartel leader in Mexico right now, is in a state of unrest. There's all kind of buildings, Costco's getting set on fire. You had like 25 assassinations of somewhat law enforcement, and you had the president, forget her name, just not looking at it the other day, but she's kind of like, not necessarily sweeping under the rug, but you could tell, you could see the fear in her eyes. A lot of people speaking in the comments like, yeah, this lady, she's in total fear, because she already knows that the cartel is a powerful organization. They generate billions annually. You have billionaires that's, you had a 15 million bounty on this guy's head. It's a lot of money that's generating within that criminal organization, and they're going to get to the point of what they're doing now is attacking Americans. They're looking to kill Americans, man. So that spirit of even just touring and just going to these different countries with that, oblivious thinking you're just gonna have a good time, we're not living in those times, man. And that's just being honest. I know certain brothers like to go certain places and things. It ain't like you can't go anywhere, but the times that we're living in, you might get caught out. You might go to a country and you can't go back. That's what happened. That's what's happening now. You got individuals, their flights are getting delayed. It's becoming most difficult to leave the country. And then you stuck like Chuck. Say for instance, you had $700, $800. You got your flight, or you spent your money. The conversion rate is higher within the various countries, but then you spend your money up, having a good time, drinking liquor and eating the foods and the tourist attractions. Just having to have it a fulfilled time. And then it's time to go back, and then you hear that you're not able to go back. All right, and then you spent majority of your money. You got bills at home, and now you got to still pay for certain things to sustain. And like I said, now you're in a country that's in disarray. You got to consider these things. You have to weigh the cost and see, is it actually worth it. We have to be make wise decision actions. Because like as it is written in Ephesians the 5th chapter, the days are evil. I constantly keep saying that. The constant reminder, the days are evil. We're living in evil times. The word evil, Eve is time, and ill is to be sick or bad. We're living in some very, very sick, bad times. The scriptures speak about how the love of many shall wax cold. On a constant, I'm constantly just seeing atrocious things that's going on within the world, and these people are going berserk. They don't have any type of regard for life. They're not considering going to prison, incarceration. They don't give a damn about any of those things, man. That's not at the front of their thoughts. All right, they're not conscious. They don't have a conscience. They're not like, all right, my actions, is gonna have a negative outlook. I'm gonna impact my family. I'm gonna impact myself. Let's see, that's cold. So let me just chill the F out. Let me just turn to the Lord and get my spirit right. Well, let me get the AI over. I'm gonna start going through this AI overview, but this is on the Matthew 24:12, because this goes into the love of many shall wax cold. I'm gonna close in a second due to the fact that I gotta go work, but this is the AI overview of wax cold. Wax cold is a phrase from the King James Bible referring to a significant decline in love, compassion, and spiritual fervor, specifically signaling the end times. It says Jesus, but we know Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai warns that As iniquity, lawlessness, sin abounds, the love of many will grow cold. It signifies a hardening of hearts, becoming indifferent, cynical, or unloving due to increased evil, apathy, or fear. Yeah, so, yep, distant, going into term cold, distant, or devoid of affection. And says the cause. The primary cause is the increase of iniquity, Greek anomia, which refers to lawlessness, a disregard for God's laws, or a general increase in wickedness. Yeah, so things are finna get terrible out here, you know? And it's already getting bad. It's not even like it's smooth sailing right now. Things are terrible right now, you know? But it's gonna get gradually worse. That's the thing about it. It's not like the times that we living in is gonna get better. You know, Scripture says, "I would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Take balm for her pain." So the Lord's intention is not to heal this place. This is the land of our captivity. You know, this is not a righteous land with morals and good conduct. You know, they're not putting us in a position where we need to be. They're oppressing us. Like I said, a lot of these people are stressed and depressed about the conditions of America, and they feel like they don't have any type of real outlook. They don't. Their outlook is they don't have any type of real. They won't have any type of real success. The American dream is dying. You know, these people are don't even have any hope. You know, us we're imprisoned by our hope. The Scripture says we are prisoners of hope. But these people on the other side of the spectrum, you know, like on drugs, family members is constantly in and out of prison, or constantly serving an extensive amount of time, or they're dead, or they're sick. You know, they don't read. Like Jake is reading at a criminally low level. You know. And anything they read is some shit on social media. All the information they just run to is just negative news or folly, you know. And then they don't have that spiritual filter to filter out anything to see what times that we living in, you know. So they're seeing people bugged out and crazy around them, and they're just, you know, going with the trend, you know. But they don't see like, all right, you know, that's this prophecy, that's this scripture. The scripture says this. The scripture. They're not walking with this wisdom in the frontlet of their heads, so they're lost and they're blind and they're in darkness, as pursuant to Isaiah the 60th chapter. But the scripture says that these things were to take place. You know, so us brothers, first and foremost, starting off with myself, you know, we living in high times to be fully aware, be circumspect, you know, keep your head on a swivel, you know, don't get caught in certain areas that's not feasible, you know, that this devil could frame you or you know, put you in a situation where you're going to be in bad circumstances. You know, we don't want to be caught out there, so to speak. But this is Matthew 24:12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Yeah, so these people are going to get in that psychotic, sociopath, psychopath mentality. You know, the lust for blood, you know, is increasing. These people constantly listen to this murder music. You know, they're getting all these firearms for cheap. You know, you got 3D printed weapons. Jake just getting their hands on. It's just all kind of madness that's taking place, man. You know, want to take it to the authorities, take it to their own parents, take it to their relatives, take it to the opposition, the control, which is a control opposition. Niggas always want to say op this and op that, but the devil, the so-called white men, are just tricking you, Jakes. You know, to keep you constantly at war with the wrong enemy, because he knows who the enemy is. He's the enemy. He's the one that looks at you as the enemy. You know, and we're not looking to go to war with the enemy on a physical front. You know, eventually the Lord will raise us up to overcome this devil. As is written, the saints shall take this kingdom. But right now we're fishing. You know, now there will be a battle that's going to take place in these days. I'm not downplaying that. But I'm saying with you Jakes just jump off the porch thinking you're going to get get a fully automatic weapon, and that's how you're gonna go to. We're not. This thing is spiritual, man. You know, and Jake don't want to sit down and be patient. Scripture says to wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, to the day that I rise up to. This is the Lord's battle, man. You know, he's pretty much the commander in chief. You know, so his actions, if he didn't say move, we don't make a move. You know, but you, Jakes, are moving on your own whim, and that's what's leading to your destruction. You know, but yeah, like I said, we're living in some really, really ridiculously crazy times. You know, and it behoove all of us just to, you know, stay rooted, grounded, and stay within our place, because this devil is looking to, you know, shake. And the scriptures speak about how the Lord is sitting in the house of Israel. The Passover is right around the corner. You know, so with that, I'm going to end it by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Shem, Yahweh Shai, by Shem, HaKadosh. Double honor to the apostle, that is a great millstone. Shalom, Akim.